الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله روحي وجسمي وأرواح العالمين لك الفداء يا غريب ويا مظلوم كربلاء ثم السلام عليكم يا أهل الأداء حسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته مع الصلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فانتظروا إني معكم من المنتظرين صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
Mu'mineen, our discussion on the stages and steps that we have to take to prepare ourselves to receive the Imam of the time, Hazrat Hujjat ibn al-Hasan, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, continues. We saw yesterday, in light of these verses which, as I said, these verses, وَانْتَظِرُوا إِنِّي مَعَكُمْ مِنَ الْمُنْتَظِرِينَ, verbatim, exactly word by word, is repeated in the Quran at 3 different places. Chapter number 7, verse number 71, chapter 10, verse 20, chapter 10, verse 102. These 3 places, verbatim, the verses are mentioned. In chapter 11, 122, the verse is slightly changed, but the essence is the same, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions communities, talks about communities where His representatives have been struggling extremely hard to try to lead the community, to lead a life of honor, a life of dignity, a life of healthy living, spiritually and secularly, and how these communities have been, with the exception of a few people, the rest of them have always been rebellious and have been challenging the Prophet, to that extent that those communities, those members who felt that there was no way out of this, that this would continue for good, and that there is no way for them, and they were about to lose hope when these verses were revealed, in which the prophets of the time were told, tell your communities to wait. Tell them to wait. Tell them to wait, because tell them that you are waiting, and that they should wait, and all of you will be among those who are waiting. And this is the time of intizar. We are all waiting for Imam of the time. And yesterday we reached a point where we saw that the Imam tells us why it is becoming difficult for him to pay us, to come back physically. His presence is always there. That is very important. Whether we see it or not, visually His presence is there. We may not see it, but He is there. However, when it becomes a matter of Him becoming physically one-to-one because of barriers that we create, this has not been happening. That we saw yesterday, and then we saw how Imam then tells us of what we have to do, behavior. We have to change our behavior. This is a behavioral change, and that Imam mentions yesterday. We saw 13 different pointers, 18 different ways in which we can change. That was for all of us. Then this dua Ajr. This is the dua which was taught to us by Imam himself. and it is recommended in these times of intizar to read this dua. After every prayers, or on Fridays, or at least once in a month, or once in a lifetime. Read this dua. It is recommended by the Imam himself. Very short dua, but if you see, there's so much inside. There is a treasure. These duas are treasures. Only we should know how to make benefit of them. So, having mentioned about all 18 different traits that all of us must have, then Imam, this dua then takes a turn. And then Imam mentions 18 different constituencies, different groups of people. He now addresses them specifically. We remember all these 18, plus you people, the one Imam, specifically this is for you. Focus on this more. If you read one salawat, I will tell you what it is.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The hardest part is for the first Imam mentions is ulama, the scholars of religion. And Imam tells them, you have to observe two things. One is piety, taqwa. You have to be very, very God conscious. You're the scholar, you're the leader, you have to be very, very conscious. Therefore, a lot of things which for the members of public is acceptable, for you as a leader, you as a member who is guiding the community, the alim, the ulama, a lot of things are forbidden for you. They may not be haram for you, but ethically you should not do that. Allahu Akbar. These are the requirements for those who sit on the mimbar. There are certain things that others may do if they want to do, but you should not, because you are setting up these standards. If that is what you do, then everybody else will do it. And I don't want to go into the details, but there are a lot of restrictions. One restriction is going to places. There are certain places, there are certain occasions where certain ceremonies take place. Everybody can go or does not go, it's up to them. But for a scholar, for the one who sits on the mimbar, he should be very careful where he goes, where he does not go. Where there is a meeting or a sitting where there is a potential possibility of a sin, violation of the laws of Islam, he should not go there. If he does go there, then he is sending a wrong message. And this is what is happening today. I don't want to say more than that. You all know, I don't want to get into that details, but these are the Imam says, you as a ulama, alim, you have got responsibilities. You have to have piety and be also careful in what you are preaching. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, in Nahjul Balagha, he says very clearly, I do not preach anything before I have practiced it myself. Preaching is very easy. Sitting on a mimbar like this is very easy because everybody is so disciplined, they will all listen. But you have to be very careful of what you say. You have very, very careful. The job of an alim is extremely difficult, brothers and sisters, very difficult. Because they are responsible for every single thing that they say. Therefore, they have to have backup. They have to know exactly where what they are saying is coming from. This is what Imam says for the preachers, for the ulama. Be careful of what you say and what you do. And this is the reason we have to high respect for the mujtahideen, because they represent the Imam of the time. And therefore they may not be on all the matters, they may not agree. There may be some minor differences, not major ones. And because of that, people have you choose whichever alim you think is good for you. He's your alim, he is your. But then once you have one, or you start talking bad about the others, it's not allowed. You have to think about this. And this is what Imam tells them. You have to be careful of what you preach, teach. You sit there, you preach, you be careful. Number one, there's a lot, but as I say, it's a subject by itself. I don't have time, just go fast. The second one is for the students, those who go to college, those who go to school. This is what the Imam tells you. For you, he says, you have to have that spirit of hard work. You are students, you're going to college, you're going to school. Work hard, Imam says. And hard work is really what is required. Imam wants every follower, every person to be highly trained in every discipline in which he can is. If you are a teacher, be the best of the teachers. If you are a doctor, be the best, any field. But you as a student, Imam says, work very, very hard. Hard work. And with interest. Not only work hard, but show that you, enthusiasm, that whatever I'm doing, I like it. It's not because I had this job, has a lot of money, so I'll go in that job. You don't really like it, there's no interest, but there's a lot of money. That is not what Imam says. Take a job, go study very, very hard. And learn that in your course of study there are a lot of hindrances. Yeah, life is full of obstacles. If it means sometimes that there is a very, very important assignment to be completed by tomorrow, and this happens to be a night of Ashur. Night Ashur, yes, we go to night Ashur. Tomorrow we will still do it. This is a challenge that I will do both spiritually and secularly. I will advance. Don't compromise that for the sake of secular, that religious studies can come afterwards. Majlis can come afterwards. And who is going to do the shafa? Those professors in the universities. You can earn, yes, but there comes a time that things will be difficult if you do not balance your spirituality. Do not lose your spiritual angle. Imam says study and don't lose interest. Then Imam says to the audience, all the audience who sit people here, when you sit in a majlis, you also have a responsibility. And Imam, for whatever reason, for the audience, he is mentioning only one thing. Why? Because all that has been mentioned before is there, maybe. But then he says, for the audience, follow what you are listening. That's only the Imam says. You've got only one thing to do. Follow. What the preacher says, listen to him. Listen, follow him. That's what he said. If you think you don't understand, ask him. There may come a time you may not be satisfied by his answer. So be it. These people who sit on the mimbar and the preachers are not perfect people. They don't have every kind of knowledge with them. They will try to answer you as much as you can. There comes a time they cannot answer, and that's it. Try on your own. But to expect, as these days is happening, conferences are called, papers are written, that what all about the member is failing. We have asked the community members in this center, in that center, in Africa, in India, in Pakistan, in all over the world, and everybody is saying that the member is failing us. The member is not doing his job. It is not making us spiritually elevated. It's not making us critical thinking. So the member should do everything for you. And when you go to the colleges to study, whatever field you are doing, you tell your professor, you are failing us. When you don't understand, you're doing a lot of research yourself. The member will try as much as it can, but the rest of it is in your hands. You have yourself also to struggle. Don't blame the member if you are failing, if you find spiritually you are not motivated. Find out why you are being not motivated. Don't think it is because the member does not talk about Einstein, the member doesn't talk about all those players, the soccer. The youths want to hear the soccer players and the volleyball players on the member being mentioned and be entertained. Member is there to entertain people, it's for educate people. So if you think spiritually, you blame. This is the Imam says, you as audience must listen and try your best to understand and do your own thinking also. Don't just depend on the member to do everything for you, work. Then the Imam talks about the sick people. Oh, you sick people, sick Muslims, cure yourself and take precaution. Yes, a lot of sicknesses comes because of our own habits, our dietary habits. Imam takes care of that also. You understand? Imam is talking about people be healthy. For you to function, for you to serve the cause of Islam, you have to be healthy. Don't do things which make you sick. Take care of yourselves. And when you find you are sick, go see your doctors. Alhamdulillah, Obamacare is still there. Take care of it. This is what the Imam is saying. Be healthy. Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salatu was salam, when he was asking about how does one spend one's time, he says, work out, budget your time. Spend some of your time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Spend some time for the community. Yes. Spend some time for your family. Spend some time for yourself, especially for your health. Then the Imam says, you know what? Spend more time on yourself. Because if you are healthy, then you will be able to serve Allah. If you are healthy enough, then you'll be able to serve the community. If you are healthy enough, then you'll be able to serve your family. Then you go and earn for your family. You see? If you don't do that, these are simple things. But this is what is required out of us. Therefore the Imam says, oh you Muslims, take care of yourselves, your health. Be healthy. Because when I come, I will need you to help, work for me. Be healthy. Then Imam addresses the dead people. Allahu Akbar. For the dead Muslims, mercy and forgiveness. Don't wait till you become, I'm telling myself, don't wait till you die and then wait for people to pray Fatiha for you and for ask forgiveness for you. Do it yourself. Prepare yourselves. You don't know when death is going to happen. Imam says, prepare yourselves. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you are such as for mercy and forgiveness of Allah before the doors of mercy are closed onto you. And for those who have already become marhum, don't forget your marhumeen. Think of them. It is said every Friday, every Thursday night, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the dead souls come to the houses and look at those who are in the houses and say, if only we had done what we were supposed to do. Today we have become muhtaj. All that wealth that we made, you are enjoying it. We are answering for it. Therefore, take care of your lives and don't forget us. Do something for us. Don't send us empty-handed. This is the reason why Thursday nights are very, very important. Whenever you can, come to the centers, sit together. Yes, we can sit at home and listen to our internet, but that's what you want? Is this all that it matters? Internet? Sitting together has its own benefits. Therefore, we are told before you become dead, prepare yourselves. Make sure everything is in order before death strikes you. Imam says, therefore, prepare for the mercy of yourselves and those who are dead. And then talks about the old people. I think I'm the oldest one here. talks about the old people and the characteristics of two things. Old people, oh you old people, live with prestige. Because you are old, there is a tendency for old people, and because none of you is old, yes, I can say that. Otherwise, if you have old people, you get upset if you talk about this. Old people become slightly like children. They become so garrulous, for example. They talk so much. One of the characteristics of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hatim Tai's son was enemy of Islam. He finally became one of the followers of the Prophet. And somebody asked him, he said, why is it, what is it that made you change so much? He said many things. Among one thing which he said was, I saw this person, when I first went there, there came an old lady. This old lady stands in front of the Prophet. And she starts talking. She talks, goes on and talking. That if it is somebody else, he would say, we always do it, Papa, okay, tomorrow we'll continue. Papa, afterwards. Because old people talk so much. He says this was the case here where the Prophet kept on listening to that lady. Encouraged, okay, go on. The lady talked up so much up to she got tired. He said, this is a character of a prophet. That's such an old person, but the way the Prophet showed respect, we don't show respect for the old people. The community, I don't talk about your community is excellent. I'm telling you, I've seen other communities. You stand up, the young people will push you. When there is a food that is being served, they will push you to make sure that they get first. You go into the mosque and you're about to park, and there is a young man, he sees you, he comes, he parks there before you. So you go look for the parking space. This is what Imam says, for the older, this will happen to you, but you act with prestige and with patience, sabr. Have sabr. A lot of things will happen because of your age. A lot of things will happen. Have sabr. That these people don't understand. These young people don't understand. When they will reach my age, then they will understand. So Imam says about you old people, have patience and have sabr. Then Imam addresses the young people. For the young people, he says, obedience. Allah, obey your parents. Obey your parents. Obey your teachers. This is what you should do. Learn how to obey. Learn how to have respect for the family, for members of the community, for everybody. Learn, and one of the biggest problems today in our, I don't know about this state, but I know our state is bullying. Students, there is a lot of problem in our colleges, in our schools, especially in our lower grades. A lot of bullying goes on. Parents have to teach the children from home that this is one thing that you should avoid. This is what Imam is saying in this thing. You young people, obey, and he says, and repent right from this age. Don't wait because I'm young. When I go old, I can do. Repent of things that you do. Know that what you are doing is wrong. This society will solve a lot of its problem. Bullying is such a big problem. Tell us as young people, will tell how many children commit suicide because of this bullying. It's becoming a very serious problem in our state. I don't know about here, but our state public schools are becoming a problem with bullying. Therefore the Imam is telling, take care. Make sure you as students in your school sustain yourself. Maintain yourself. Where are these challenges in the school? Learn how to face these challenges. See, the Imam is addressing to everyone. Imam is for everybody. Imam is not for the Shias only. Imam is for anyone who wants to take advantage from him. Like the sun. The sun is not only for Muslims, it's for everybody. Whoever wants to take advantage of the Imam, take advantage of him. This is what Imam tells us. Go talk about this to your schools. Let people understand what your religion is. Then Imam says, I'm very fast, for women. And I am very careful, because if you are not very careful to talk about women, you get into trouble. Got to be very careful when you talk about women. This is what Imam says. Women, modesty and chastity. And I don't want to go more into this. Only one small hadith, if you read one salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali
I'm
Muhammad.
sure this hadith does not apply to here, many other places, not here. So I'm not saying anyone, I don't know how your society here, I don't know. The Prophet was asked, do angels ever laugh? Prophet said, yes. Angels laugh. Huh? Yes. 3 occasions the prophets laugh, the angels look at human beings and they laugh at them. What is it? Number 1. He said when he look at those people who have got a land, big land, and they are neighbors, and when the neighbor doesn't see, he steals his land. Slowly, slowly he's stealing his land. He says he's got such a big land, but still he steals from his, the neighbor doesn't see it, it's like he steals it, like what we do in our life. When they say, the angel, this man has all this land, he's still stealing from his friend. He's laughing. So the second thing is, Allahu Akbar. He says when people have talked the whole day, nothing useful. They've been talking all the day. They finish the prayers of Isha. Before they're going to sleep, they're still talking. Then angels say, don't they fill their tummies with talking? Talking. All the time talking still. But they smile and laugh at you. And the third one is a serious word. He says they laugh when they see, when a woman dies, they take her in her coffin, they go to the graveyard, and I don't know if the practice still is here or not, but when a lady is being lowered in the grave, they cover her to take a piece of cloth, and the angels laugh. This woman in all her life did not observe hijab. She moved around in streets and went everywhere without her showing her beauty. And now that she is dead and she has no value at all, she's going to rot and decay very soon. Now they are hiding her. They smile. Chastity of the women is very, very important. And they also say there are 3 occasions when they also cry. When do they cry? They say they cry, one of the occasions is when a student who works very, very hard, struggling, and when he passes away, they'll cry for him. Then they say they cry for that person who is old and his young son dies. And when that old man cries, angels cry with him. And they say the third occasion, when an orphan young boy who has lost his parents, at night when he wakes up sometimes he cries for his parents. Angels cry for them. These are the things that we should all remember. Therefore then the next one is, he talks about the rich people. All you people who are rich, be humble. Money is something that sometimes spoils people. Because he is rich, he thinks that, everybody should bow down to him. And wherever he goes, there is that pomposity, he moves around. Remember, Amir al-Mu'minin talks about peacock. If you look at Najl Balagha, he talks about peacock. Peacock, Taus, peacock. If you see, it's so beautiful when it spreads out its feathers, you see how beautiful that is. Peacock is supposed to be one of the most beautiful animals. Very beautiful. It says when the peacock opens up, it's so beautiful, he is so happy, and he looks around so happy. But then suddenly when he looks at his feet, very small feet, and to that bird, that's ugliness. So then it sheds tears. I'm so beautiful, and I'm so... He said, this is what the rich people should always think about it. That with all the richness that they have, don't let that also become, part of it becomes like the leg of a peacock. That you develop weaknesses because of your richness, you become weak, you become arrogant. And therefore, humility, Imam says, be humble. You are very rich, be humble. Remember, that richness was given to you to Allah. If you got it, you can lose it anytime. You can lose it any time, and it came from Allah. So remember, and there are hukooks inside of how you have to spend that wealth. There is a way to handle that wealth. I'm going fast. Then you be generous. And I'm told this is a very generous community. That because of this generosity of this community, you have this center today. That people have given money, given loans to support this. And for those who are rich, and this is the night, there still are debts, help clear those debts. Please the Imam of the town. How to please the Imam, we'll talk tomorrow about how to please the Imam. How now we respond. When he tells us all this, how do we reply? We have to reply, and how we are going to reply, tomorrow we'll reply. And one of it is those who can afford. This is the night. Those are the afford. Give, solve this problem. Make sure that by end of these 10 days of Muharram, we have already cleared your debts. For those who have money, do it. Then Imam goes forward, he says, for the poor, the man doesn't leave the poor also. He says, oh, you poor people, have patience and be satisfied. Don't expose yourself to that extent that you humiliate yourselves. Don't do that. On the day of Arafah, somebody is moving on the ground of Arafah, is begging. Imam Sajjad sees him and says, wow, today is the day of Arafah and you are moving around begging like this to human beings? Struggle. Today we saw some young people in the streets, very young people. Can you spare me a few coins? You are a young man, you can go and struggle and earn. You're going around begging and asking, give me this and give me that. Therefore, Imam says there should be no beggars in the community. The community has got all the resources. There should be no beggary. There should be no poverty in a community. They should be, that these poor people should have patience. And they should be satisfied, work. And whatever little you get, support yourself with that. Do not expose, do not move around begging. Begging is no good. This is the advice that the Imam is giving. Behave like this, live. Then I will come. I don't want to come to a society where people move around begging. I want to come to a society, it's a model that I'm going to use as a model to establish a system that's applicable throughout the world. The Imam is going to be there for the whole world. And you, my followers, are going to be, each one of you are going to be my representative. Who knows who? We mentioned of 313 followers. That is symbolic. Who knows which one of us here is going to be chosen if Imam comes and you go and be governor of that particular state because of your character. This is what Imam says there, talks about mujahideen, those who with help and victory. I won't talk much about that, I'll just leave it. Those who are destitute, then rulers. I talk about rulers and kings. And those who are in power, leaders. For them, he says, show justice and show compassion. Justice and compassion. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib that paper that he wrote, that instruction that he wrote, even discussed with the United Nations, that Amirul Mu'mineen wrote to the governor who was going to be the governor, and he tells him how he is going to rule. And he tells him that you as a leader must be such that when people come to see you, justice, don't say, I'm too busy, I can't see you. Do justice. They come to see you, you have to give your time. If you cannot do that, Amir doesn't say it, but what we can understand is step down. Don't take a leadership position just for the heck of name. If you take a position, do it for the sake of working. Therefore, do not send away Mu'mineen. I have got no time for you. No. If you are a leader and if you are a ruler, you have to do justice and you have to do compassion. Compassion is something which is disappearing today in these societies. Compassion and kindness is disappearing. And this is what Imam says to those who are in state of power, leadership, wherever you are. You have to show compassion, kindness. One of the followers of the Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen, who is poor. He is a Jammal, meaning he was dealing with camels. And he goes to see Ali ibn Yaqatin. Ali ibn Yaqatin is the prime minister during the time of Harun al-Rashid. He has been allowed, Imam said, work, but work so that the community benefits. Ibrahim Jammal goes to see him. He is very busy, he doesn't see him. Then when the Yaqatin used to go for Hajj every year and then go and see the Imam. When he went to see Imam said, I don't have time to see him. He was shocked. Imam, he says, yes. Tell him if he did not have time to see that poor person, Ibrahim Jammal, I have no time to see you. What should I do? Go get apology from him. Go please him and then come back. This is what I said, high standard. When you sit in these places, there are high standards which I said the Imams expect a lot from us. The man goes, he seeks apology, then the Imam embraces him. Yes. But you have to show compassion. When you deal with human beings, deal with them with kindness. Therefore, when you offend somebody, if you sometimes speak harshly with somebody, go afterwards, apologize. Because sometimes in the way of discussion, you overstate, you become aggressive. You don't want to hurt anybody, you go ask for forgiveness. This is what we are told as leaders, should always have that kind of. Anyway, Imam then go forward, he says for the pilgrims, go for pilgrimage, go for Hajj, and go for Umrah. And finally, be graceful and be merciful. These are very, very important points that Imam ﷺ talks to us. This is what we all have to do. When we start doing this, when this becomes part and parcel of our day-to-day life, you will see the Imam will appear. But there are also certain things that make the Imam very happy. There is this man, he reported himself, a poor man, a young man, poor, sick, accompanied by one of the teachers. Very recently, he goes for Mu'alla, Ziyarat of Mu'alla, where the grandparents of the Prophet are buried in Makkah. He goes and he reads a Ziyarat. There is a young man sitting there. So he's looking at them. They read the Ziyarah of Hazrat Khadijatul Kubra. As they read the Ziyarah, the man who sits there is crying. He's crying, he cries. When the Ziyarah is over, he tells them, he says, I'm so happy. You talked about my grandmother. I'm so happy. You've talked about my grandmother. May Allah reward you. Say, okay, may Allah reward you, may Allah reward you. Now, it was almost dark, almost getting dark. And they want to go to the mosque to pray. So they say, now we will not be able to make it because it's so dark. So this gentleman tells them, you know what, you go, I'll get you. There's a taxi driver, just call the taxi, come here. Take them to this place. So they want to pay, so don't pay, I'll pay for you, he pays for you. So they said, it was not possible for them to go to the mosque because it was dark. In no time they find themselves in the mosque. See this ziyarah, when we read this adha, we underestimate the importance of the adha. That's why I say these places, when we do adha, we have to be very careful who is there, the imam of the time, the ruh, the souls of Ma'asumin are present with us. We do not know. These are the nights when you sit here, ask for Allah forgiveness. I do that, ask for my forgiveness. Ask for everyone's forgiveness. Make best use of this time. This is the time when we should, one thing that the Imam loves the most amount of time is Sayyid Shuhada, the Masaid of Sayyid Shuhada. And if you look, the Masaid that he himself teaches us in Ziyarat al-Nahiya, you'll see how he talks about the atrocities that befell the house of Ahlul Bayt. It was this day of Ashur there. Early in the morning after the prayers, Imam Hussein has very few people. And to protect so that the army of Yazid does not attack them. Therefore, they divided their forces into three groups. There is what is called the left arm. There is a left soldier standing on the left side. On the right side is the army, is the leader with alam is Zuhair ibn Qayn. On the left, there are these few soldiers standing. The leader is Habib ibn Madahir. And in the center, to protect people coming right and attack the Khayam is Abbas ibn Ali with the family of Bani Hashim. Those 17 children from the house of Bani Hashim. This is how it is. And then the forces of Yazid attack and the battle takes place. So far as the Ansars were alive, none of the members of the family of the Prophet gave or even had a scratch on his body. They protected them up to the last moment. When all the members of the Sahaba, of the Ansar had been killed, now came the turn of the children of Banu Hashim. Allahu Akbar. These were four of them in the family of Bani Hashim. There were four prominent members. Four were Abbas ibn Ali, Abdullah ibn Ja'far, Muslim ibn Aqil. These were the ones who were prominent in the community. Imam Hussein, when he left behind Muhammad Hanafiya was the fourth one. Muhammad Hanafiya, Abdullah ibn Ja'far to take care of the family in Medina. With him, he takes Abbas ibn Ali and he takes Muslim. Muslim, you found out how he was martyred. Now what is left is the family of him. These are the children of Imam Hussein brought up himself. Just think of this. These are all young people, very young. And now it is their turn. Say the first one to go was Ali al-Akbar. There are two traditions here. They say Ali Akbar was the last one to go, but the majority of historians say Imam Hussein sent Ali Akbar first. After the martyrdom of Ali Akbar, then came the turn for the children of Aqil. Muslim had already been martyred. There were other children of Aqil in Karbala. They all went out and they were all martyred. There was also a son of Muslim, two sons of Muslim in Karbala, Abdullah and Muhammad. Both of them were martyred. After the martyrdom of children of Aqil, now came the turn of the children of Ja'far. Remember, Aqil, then Ja'far, then Ali. So this is how they went out to give their lives. The second batch then is the children of Aqil. After Aqila, the children of Ja'far. There, it said there were two of them. One was Aun and Muhammad. These were the children of Abdullah ibn Ja'far, their mother Zainab. These children did not join Imam Hussein when he left Medina. However, when Imam Hussein moved from Makkah towards Iraq, this is the time when Abdullah ibn Ja'far bin Nafis took his children and handed over to Imam Hussein and told his children, when the time comes for defense, defend your uncle. He was sick, Abdullah ibn Ja'far, he was old, and then besides that he had to take care of family in Medina. These children therefore went with their mother in the Beit Qattu, day of Karbala. And he said on the night of Ashur, all the ladies of the house of Ahlul Bayt, they called the children and they advised them. These were the children who had been brought up in the family of Ahlul Bayt. These were the best children at that time in Medina. I would say in the Muslim world. These were the best children who had been raised in the family of Ahlul Bayt, where were prepared to do what was the best for them and for the Ummah. Therefore, that night mothers reminded the children that this is the day for which you are all, we trained you, we brought you up. Tomorrow is the day of sacrifice. remember the challenges you'll face tomorrow. Among them were these two children, Aun and Muhammad. Zainab Bibi trained them, and when the day comes for them to leave this world, they came to their mother. Mother, we are now ready. It is said, therefore, Hazrat Zainab went to Imam Hussein. How much difficult it must have been for Imam Hussein to permit these children. But this is for the sake of Allah. Finally, Zainab Bibi, the children are allowed to go to the battle to give their life for the sake of Islam. These two young boys together, two brothers who have always lived together, they've always played together, they've lived together, they've always been together. When they go to the battlefield, they go together. Aun and Muhammad, they go to the battlefield. And when they go to the battlefield, they say they fought and they show so much courage that people from Umar ibn Saad were surprised. And some of them went to the extent of commenting. They said Umar ibn Saad, when he saw the way these young boys were showing the courage, they said that these are the children of Bani Hashim. These are the children who were trained. Look at the way they're fighting. They fought and they fought finally. Umar ibn Saad said, if you allow these children to go, they'll kill all of us. Surround them, separate these two boys. And that's what they did. They separated. They came in between, and Muhammad is on one side, Aun is on the side. Then one of them is struck on the head and he falls on the ground. The other one tries to come and help him. He is also hit and he falls down. When these two children of Zainab fell down on the ground, they call out for the uncle, Yabna Rasulillah, alaykunna minni salam. This is our final salutation to you, uncle. When Imam Hussein hears the voice, he goes towards the battlefield. May Allah never put a situation to anyone the way Imam Hussein was in. He saw these two young boys lying on the ground. One of them was his last breath. He looked at the uncle and he was whispering, he was saying something. It is said Imam Hussein lowered his head. Oh my son, what is it that you want to tell me? He said, our mother had told me that if you ever get close to the river, don't drink water. The children of Labayta tell our mother, we did not drink any water though we were close to the river. Saying this, Muhammad closed his eyes. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Imam Hussein and Hazrat Abbas carried the bodies of Aun and Muhammad and proceeded towards Khayma. It is said those bodies that could have been brought back, any time when those bodies were being brought back, the ladies of the house of Fatima would weep and cry for them. They would then come to the edge of the doors of the Hayman and would weep for them. It is said when Auna Muhammad came there, Fidda, the maid of the house, did not see Hazrat Zainab in that group. She went inside and saw Zainab sitting. Tolo Bibi, may you be consoled. Your sons have been killed. She said, I know. Then she went into sajda, and she said, Ya Allah, accept these sacrifices from the house of the Prophet. It is said, Zainab, if you look all the marsiyas that Hazrat Zainab read on the day of Ashur and on all the way in Kufa and in Sham, you will never see she mentions Aun and Muhammad. She never mentions them. She kept her sadness, her sorrow for her children in her heart. Till when she went back to Medina after being freed from the prison of Sham. It is said she went back to her house. She was sitting outside the house when her husband Abdullah ibn Jafar came there. It was, Abdullah was very generous. Therefore, people who had any needs, were poor, would always come to the house and sit outside. And Abdullah would come and ask them what is it they wanted, and he would fulfill their financial needs. When he came, he saw this lady sitting there. He turns to her and says, Ya Amatallah, oh the lady of Allah, what is it that has brought you here in my door? What kind of help is it that you want? Zainab turns to husband, Abdullah, you did not recognize me. I am Zainab. Abdullah looks at her and says, oh Dr. Rasul, oh Bint Rasul, oh Bint Ali, oh Bint Fatima. You have aged so fast. I could not recognize you. What happened to you? Zainab, this is the time when she remembers Awna Muhammad. She goes in the house when she sees those places where Awna Muhammad used to be. She calls her, oh Muhammad, the day has come where your mother calls you when you are not there to reply to her. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون ما سمع حسين
हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का मातम हरम अब्बास